Good evening and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host, Ryan Robson. I'm sorry, I was just doing a bit of stretching actually. We will actually look at the Japanese yen. It looks like the Japanese yen is in good shape. There was actually some demand that comes in, and I will actually give out some stuff out of the Japanese yen, which is actually in very good shape. And as I said on the podcast earlier, not earlier, actually yesterday and also this morning, where I actually said that the Japanese yen is in a better shape and also the US dollar. And I can see actually the US dollar also performing extremely well. Actually, if I look at it, the trading economics, it's actually up by 0.5%, which is quite a lot, 0.54%. And the British pound is actually caving with the US dollar, and then also the Australian dollar, New Zealand, and also the euro. It's basically signals that I said this morning of what's going to happen. So please, if you can, go to in the mornings at 10 o'clock. That is actually where I actually do give signals out. It's absolutely free. You don't have to pay anything. I give the signals out because obviously there's no actually news today that actually went through, but you have currencies that actually go strong. You have commodities actually slightly a bit down, but you actually have the crude oils that is actually up. That story will not last long because there's some heavy supply chain problems that is now coming from China, which also goes to Beijing, where they're actually going to put in more lockdowns actually on Beijing. There's a high probability actually of that will happen, but it's also the story of Shanghai. Now, very importantly, the main story is actually about the Japanese yen. If you look at the Japanese yen, I'm just actually going to share my screen with you. If you look at the Japanese yen, this is now the 4-hour candle. I'm actually just making this a bit bigger. This is actually the 4 hours. If you look actually with today, it actually moved actually drastically down. And that is all to do with the strength of the people going actually to the safe haven currencies. This is actually what the power of the Japanese yen actually push out. And that is what I said to my traders. That was now yesterday and actually this morning, where the US and actually the Japanese yen will perform well basically in this time. If you look at trading economics, for example, I'm just actually pushing my screen up a bit. The dollar index is actually up by 0.5%. You must actually realize where we in this situation. We are actually on a downtrend. Don't get me wrong. You will get times where you will have a retracement. For example, we will have a retracement actually on oil prices. On gold, I doubt gold will go up. But you will get the retracement on some days where the market will go up. But as things stands, we are actually on a downtrend. And that is all to do with the story of the side effects of Ukraine, and then also the interest rate hike that comes next week. I will actually sound like a broken record when it comes to tomorrow, also with my radio interview. But obviously, I will look at the news and what's the story. China actually on this side, they did actually push stimulus in to help the economy. That happened this morning where they put out about 100 billion yens. That only lasts actually for a few hours because China at the end, it actually ended in the red. Australia started in the red also when I woke up this morning. It ended actually in the red. The JSC in the red. You also have the currencies, which is the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar. All of those currencies were also in the red. Then you have, for example, the oil prices that actually went up. But I don't think that story will actually last long because you also have your cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies of all things. I thought actually basically that your cryptocurrencies will go up because of the Chinese that pump stimulus in. But obviously that is the other thing to do because there's no crypto in China. But the thing is, I thought because there's money more in the economy, then you might see your cryptos goes up, basically your commodity currencies go up, especially Australia, New Zealand, but none of the sort actually happened. So that is actually where I said your best bet is actually the US dollar and the Japanese yen. Those two are actually your best bet now. And obviously you have the Swiss franc, which is more of a stable currency. If you look at the stocks and the indexes, all the indexes in China actually went down. That happened this morning. And what I said actually also Australia that went down as well. So I was more in favor that your NASDAQ will go down. The NASDAQ will go down. I'm just actually, all right. It actually went down quite heavily. Your NASDAQ went down. Your Dow Jones go down, S&P 500. That's exactly what I said this morning. So if you are lucky, please go to my radio show in the mornings. It is actually at 10 o'clock. That is on Mixler. I would say click on it, register, and be a follower so that you know when I'm actually going on live. But that is exactly what I said this morning. When your Asian market starts in the red, you have your Australian market that also goes in the red. Then obviously South Africa will start in the red, and then it will trickle over to the United States. Because it is really not rocket science. It's really not rocket science. The $100 billion US dollars the 100 billion ones that the Chinese were pushing out yesterday, that has nothing to do with the supply problems that is actually the issue of the world today. That is just to give the people relief in China because they're under lockdown. That's basically, so they will actually spend. If the Chinese are spending, then it means there will be a fuck all for us to buy actually, because we are buying all our products from China. That is actually the issue. There is currently, there's supply problem. Because actually the Shanghai is standing still, and also now Beijing, or it's about to stand still. So the thing is, your best bet is actually your safe haven, which is the Japanese yen. And if you look actually with the Japanese, I'm actually just going to share my screen again. I was looking at this earlier, and I doubt actually it will go to that phase again. Just actually trying to get this screen up. This is the one-day chart. Come on, you bloody bugger. The one-day chart, ooh, that looks very ugly. The one-day chart, come on, 1 week chart, okay. This is a 1 week chart where it leaves actually that ugly hammer and then it's continue. And if you look at the one-day chart, it's just actually flying down. This is actually what the Japanese yen is basically doing. Look, with all the money that Japan is printing, they are giving stimulus to the people. They are pushing money. They're doing everything possible in Japan to help the people. But the thing, you would automatically think, because they're doing that for all the people in Japan, you would think that the currency would go down. That is not the case. The thing is, once you have crap going on in the world, the Japanese come to the party because it's a safe haven currency. Even if they print 10 trillion or 20 trillion, because it's a stable economy, the people will go to the Japanese yen and they will buy the Japanese yen in a safe haven. And one thing for sure, when you see the chart of how it is now, when it rips through, that's why I actually post that picture up, because my favorite movie is still The Last Samurai. Okay, one of my favorite movies is still The Last Samurai. But once it actually moves through, it goes right through. And I doubt it will stop. Obviously, some days it will retrace. But the time where you say that the Japanese will still actually go weaker, that is gone. I think the Japanese yen will strengthen quite a bit. It may actually, on the 1 day, as I saw now, it may go to the 50-day EMA, where it will maybe retrace a bit upwards. But that will be a very gradual retracement, and then it will just go further down. One is the interest rate of the Federal Reserve, and then two is also the lockdowns that is currently happening in the global economy, and then all the other currencies, or I would say central banks, that need to raise up their interest rates. For more information in the mornings especially, I can give my predictions now, but tomorrow the things might change because there might be news coming out of Russia, Ukraine, or wherever. So the thing is, tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, please log in, listen to it. And that is where I actually normally give my signals. I ask people to ask me questions as well. And then obviously we have our discussion, and then I give my signals at that time at 10. So please don't forget my radio station. That is actually at 10 o'clock. So log on there. That is actually where I give my signals, because if you did listen this morning, you would be up with the NASDAQ, with the Dow Jones, with the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, with all these other currencies where I actually gave up signals. This is actually my favorite time of trading, where things are going to shit. This is actually where I like it the most. So that is it from my side for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Please don't forget, my radio show is at 10 o'clock. It is on Mixler. Do look at it and then listen to it. Tomorrow I will be at 10. That's it from my side. See you guys tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Bye-bye.